Hey guys, Joey Briggs here with the Band of Brothers Lincoln and NC with Alex in his office. This is literally his office. This is where his desk is. If you come in to file a claim, get help on your medical benefits, or just see what the VA can do for you, you'll most likely be sitting face to face with Mr. Alex here. And he's got this awesome sand table. Tell us a little bit about this sand table, Alex.
Well, this is one of the first things I did when I took this office. This was a doctor's office. These walls were green. There was a sink here. It was just a doctor's office. You know, the walls in the hallway were pink. It was not veteran friendly at all. So this was one of the first projects I did. This is 250 pounds of sand. I bought a collection from a guy of just different, you know, these aren't plastic, these are metal, high-grade replicas, and I just wanted to let our folks coming back, especially those just getting off active duty, and know that we care about them, you know, and a lot of those folks come in and they tell me about this equipment. They remember serving in this. Our local National Guard unit uses some of this equipment in their adventures, shall we say. But you know, the hardest part of this was finding this mural on the back wall that was a desert. Very few people want a picture of just sand, you know, so that was sort of complicated to find. But it was fun putting this together. People seem to love it, and you know, it just brings back a lot of memories for folks that served in that environment.
And it really does, you know, for someone who served overseas. I fought alongside a lot of tanks, and you know, I was always riding in these Humvees. But you got these little 22 shells sitting by the tank, man. It's really authentic looking, and you can tell there's a lot of detail into this stuff, and a lot of thought and a lot of care that goes into this stuff.
Yes, excuse me. Somehow this is just a hobby that I picked up along the way, and you know, it just all happens as I go. You know, I don't ever pre-plan any of this stuff. I just sort of make it up as I go. Once I get started in it, and it turned out good. People seem to love it.
We're going to talk about a little bit about PTSD. There's a lot of veterans that are sitting out there. They either have it and they don't want to talk to anybody about it, or some of them don't even know that they have it. So let's talk a little bit about this PTSD. I would say that I have PTSD, but I don't want to talk about my feelings. How do I go about filing a claim like that?
So there's a lot of veterans out there that won't file a claim for PTSD for various reasons. You know, there's a stigma to it, they think, but you need to file it. A lot of them have horror stories about having to go to the VA, tell their story to a counselor or whatever. So here's what we do at our office. If you come see me and want to file a PTSD claim, I'm going to send you home and tell you to do the following. You take a blank sheet of paper and you write your story. I have some that it takes 2 days and they're back in here. I have some it takes 2 months to write that story. And it's hard because, you know, you're bringing back all those memories of the things you've gone through and that difficult part of your life. But here's the beauty in that. Once you write that down, you come and file a claim. We send that to the VA. When you go for a C&P exam, and you'll have to go for one to file a claim for PTSD, you hand them that sheet of paper and you say, here's my story. To where they don't start asking you a bunch of questions and you have to bring all that up again. It's there. They can read it, and you have time to get your story the way you want it to be. You go for a C&P exam, people get nervous. They forget different parts of what actually happened. And don't want to they bring up part of it, but they don't want to go back to that spot, you know, that serious event that they just don't want to bring back up. So they don't tell the examiner about it, and then they don't win a claim, or, you know, they don't end up with a high percentage as they should. So, you know, it's always write that story down. You don't ever have to tell it again because it's written there. Anybody that needs to know can read what you wrote.
Exactly. And a good way to build that body is to touch base on the things that you've experienced, talk about that a little bit, but then also talk about how it affects you in your day-to-day life. And if you have a spouse or a very close family member that can also write a statement to go along with that, that's extremely helpful as well, isn't it?
It is. It is. The more information you can get, buddy statements they're called, family and friends that can see how you've changed over the years, The situation is critical with PTSD. 22 veterans a day commit suicide, as you know. Over half of those are Vietnam veterans. Those guys came home, got married, worked their whole life, stayed busy. Now they're retired and they got a lot of free time on their hand. Those memories come flooding back. One, you need the help. You need to get the help that the VA offers to get past that, to learn how to deal with that and function on a daily basis. Secondly, you need to be compensated for that. That is a valid VA compensation, that a benefit that you're entitled to, and you need to do that. If you're angry all the time or on marriage number 4, job number 12, all those things are signs that you need help. Let us be that help for you.
And there's also a lot of stigma surrounding PTSD. Like, if I file this claim, they're going to take all my guns. Or a lot of us veterans are in the security or police field, and we're worried about losing our job and our job status because a lot of us identify, with our job. So what are the truths and the myths and some of the things that are just flat out not true about these PTSD claims?
Yeah, the truth is that nobody's going to come take your guns. I've had two individuals at the VA. They had 100% disabled with PTSD. They were in a very bad way, and the VA did say, hey, you can't own firearms. They can't be in their house. But even then they give the veterans 60 days to say why they should have guns in their house. So they're not just going to say, hey, you can't have guns. You would be amazed at how many law enforcement officials, how many people in critical jobs in the civilian world who are prior military and have PTSD. Nobody knows it, but the veteran and me, if I file the claim, nobody else knows, and really it's not in their business unless you're just so severe that you can't function in society. And then your employers will know that anyway, because it's going to be a telltale sign, But the vast majority of folks that suffer from PTSD function daily. They're out here in high pressure jobs. They do fine, and nobody ever knows. Nobody knows an individual's disability. I'm like an attorney or a doctor. When you come and see me, I'm bound by the same regulations they are. Everything that goes on in this office stays in this office. It's between the veteran and myself, and that's where it stays. So if you don't tell them you have PTSD, they're certainly not going to hear it from my end, so they're never going to know.
Exactly. So come on down here to the Lincoln County VA office and get those PTSD claims started. You don't have to seek help, but you are entitled to those benefits. And if help is something that you're interested in, we can get you into that as well.